I smoothed the sleek black dress I was wearing, Chanel, though no one here would recognize it, and balanced another tray of sparkling champagne. Around me, my mother's annual charity gala thrummed with the swirl of designer gowns and the sharp scent of expensive perfume. The same event where, a year ago, they'd announced my sister Victoria's promotion to senior VP at Goldman Sachs. "Olivia, darling," Mom's voice cut through the crowd with that familiar undertone of mild disappointment. "The Ashworth's glasses are empty. Are you even paying attention?" I swallowed the retort about how one of my subsidiaries now managed the Ashworth's entire portfolio. Instead, I offered a polite nod and navigated the room with the ease of someone who had done this dance countless times. "Still playing server?" Victoria materialized at my side, radiant in a scarlet gown that screamed wealth. "Although I guess it suits you. Weren't you doing something like this in London? The service industry, or whatever." If by service industry she meant running Morgan International, one of Europe's top private equity firms, then yes. But they had no clue. They didn't know about the private jet waiting at the airport, or that I own this entire building. "Something along those lines," I murmured, moving past her, tray in hand. "Oh, and Olivia," she called after me, "when you're done with the drinks, Mother needs help in the kitchen. The catering staff is apparently too busy for the important work." Important work like preparing the dinner I'd funded through 3 separate shell companies. Every detail of this gala, from the vintage champagne to the crystal centerpieces, was underwritten by me, though no one here would ever suspect it. "Olivia." Dad's voice rang across the room. "Stop lingering and get more ice. The Hendersons' glasses are empty." The Hendersons. I suppressed a smirk, recalling that just last week their company had begged my firm for emergency funding. Little did they know, the anonymous CEO who denied them was currently fetching their ice. My phone vibrated softly, a message from Marcus Mayo: "Tokyo deal closed. $50 million profit. Board wants expansion discussion." I typed back, "In meeting. They'll believe I'm in some tedious conference, better than admitting I was pouring drinks while everyone assumed I'd failed." "Who's texting you?" Victoria appeared again, a flute of champagne dangling from her manicured fingers. "My boss at that little import firm," I said, letting the lie roll off my tongue. Ah, the story they all believed, poor Olivia, barely scraping by at some small company. If they only knew it was just one tiny piece of my global empire. "Just focus on your work," I muttered. Mom glided up, diamonds flashing under the chandeliers. "Victoria just closed another major deal. 10 million in bonuses this quarter alone. Isn't that exciting?" I nodded politely, remembering I had earned more before breakfast. "We're so proud," Dad said, arriving with the Hendersons in tow. "Victoria is showing what a Harrison can achieve when they put their mind to it." The Hendersons nodded with polite smiles, though Mr. Henderson's hand trembled slightly as he reached for a fresh glass. Likely still fretting over their rejected funding request. "Unlike some," Victoria said, a pointed glance at my tray, "who never quite realized their potential." Mom sighed, her disappointment theatrical. "We did try, Olivia, top schools, perfect connections. But she insisted on her own way. Remember the junior analyst role at Goldman I offered her?" Victoria laughed. "She wanted to explore other opportunities. And now? Serving drinks at parties. Someone has to do it, I suppose." I checked my phone again, London office, urgent. Royal family's private investment team requesting a meeting tomorrow. Jet prepped and ready. "See?" Mom gestured toward my phone. "Always distracted. No wonder she can't hold a proper job." "Actually, I began, but Victoria cut me off. Let her check her phone. Maybe Mother thinks she's picking up a second shift. We know she needs the money." Dad shook his head, sorrowful. "At least help properly tonight, Olivia. The kitchen staff could use your assistance." Something inside me snapped. 3 years of this charade. 3 years of masking my achievements, letting them assume I was floundering while quietly building one of the largest private investment firms on the planet. I really should get going, I murmured, soft enough to seem tentative. I have a meeting. Victoria laughed, loud and sharp, drawing glances from nearby guests. A meeting at this hour? Let me guess, some night shift bartender? Olivia, Mom's voice snapped, losing its usual sweetness. You will stay and help with the cleanup. After all we've done, it's the least you can do. All this expense? I thought bitterly, the expense funded entirely by my accounts, shuffled through enough shell companies to erase my fingerprints. Victoria seized the moment, projecting theatrically to her audience. Isn't that right, dear sister? I scanned the room, taking in all the people who thought they knew me, the Hendersons, desperate to salvage their floundering company, the Ashworths, whose portfolio I secretly controlled, and my sister, boasting about deals that barely scratched my morning earnings. My phone buzzed. James, my head of security, cars ready downstairs. Pilot reports perfect conditions for the London flight. I looked down at the tray in my hands, then at the smug faces of my family. Perhaps it was time to reveal exactly who had been serving their champagne all evening. Actually, I said, setting the tray down, I do have a rather pressing meeting to attend. More important than your mother's gala? Dad's voice rose, tight with anger. More important than helping your family? Victoria smirked. Let me guess. Some late-night stock clerk needs guidance counting inventory. I smoothed my dress, checked my Patek Philippe, worth more than Victoria's annual bonus. Something like that. But no. Mom stepped forward, her tone hard and accusing. You will stay and help clean up. It's the only thing you're capable of anyway. A hush fell over the ballroom. Guests leaned forward, relishing the spectacle of the supposed family failure standing her ground. Perfect. I smiled and pulled out my phone. Let me just make a quick call. Silence deepened as I dialed. All eyes on me, the so-called disappointment of the family, Victoria's smirk widening in anticipation. James, I said clearly into the phone, bring the Henderson merger contracts upstairs immediately. Mr. Henderson froze, champagne halfway to his lips. The what? Before anyone could react, the double doors swung open. James entered, impeccably dressed, followed by my full executive team, my top lieutenants, who had been waiting just out of sight. Madam, James said with a bow, the private jet is fueled and ready. The royal family's investment team has rescheduled tomorrow's meeting to breakfast at Buckingham Palace. They are eager to discuss the merger. The room went silent. Victoria's confident smirk vanished, replaced by wide-eyed shock. Thank you, James. I turned to Mr. Henderson. I apologize for the deception. I preferred to assess your company's potential personally before revealing my identity. As CEO of Morgan International, I cannot support your current business model. Morgan International? Mom whispered, stunned. That's Europe's largest private equity firm. It used to be, I corrected. Now it's global. That little import company you mocked? One of many subsidiaries. Dad's face drained of color. That's impossible. You couldn't. Couldn't what? I raised an eyebrow. Couldn't build a multi-billion-dollar company? Couldn't become the youngest female CEO on the Financial Times 500? Or couldn't do all of that while you thought I was serving drinks and counting inventory? Victoria staggered back, clutching a nearby chair. But I'm supposed to be the successful one. I'm senior VP at Goldman. Ah, about that. I nodded to a team member, who stepped forward with a folder. Goldman's board approved the sale of your division this morning. Effective next week, you'll report to my Asia-Pacific director, assuming we choose to keep you. Whispers began to ripple through the elite crowd. Eyes widened. The room had finally realized that the quiet girl they underestimated had been in control all along. As the realization sank in that I'd been serving their champagne all evening, I gestured around the lavish ballroom. This gala, I said, entirely funded by me through various shell companies. This building? I purchased it last year. That champagne you've been sipping? From my private vineyard in France. Mom slumped into a chair, her flawless composure finally cracking. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have believed me? I said softly, letting a small laugh escape. You didn't think I could handle a junior analyst role, so I let you believe whatever you wanted, right up until the moment you needed me. Needed you? Dad's voice wavered. The Henderson merger is only the beginning. Did you really think your company's sudden turnaround last year was luck? Those mysterious investors that saved you from bankruptcy, that was all me? Victoria's face had gone pale, a curious green creeping across her features. The London office, those meetings you claimed to have. They were actually with me? A refined British voice cut through the room. All eyes turned as Lord Sheffield, one of the UK's most prominent financiers, entered. Apologies for my lateness, Olivia. Airport traffic was horrendous. Perfect timing, Charles, I replied with a calm smile. Just in time for the revelations. Mom's gaze flickered between us, her social climbing instincts warring with disbelief. You two know each other? She asked. Oh, quite well, Lord Sheffield said with a chuckle. Your daughter's firm manages most of the royal family's private investments. A brilliant mind. Though I must admit, I never imagined I'd find her serving drinks at a party. That was by choice, I said evenly. I wanted to see how long my family would dismiss me, even as they unknowingly thrived on my success. James stepped forward. Madam, we should depart soon to make the London meeting. Of course. I turned to my stunned family. I'd love to stay and help clean up, but I have breakfast at Buckingham Palace tomorrow. I'm sure you understand. Olivia, wait, Mom said, standing shakily. We can discuss this as a family. Family. I paused. Real family doesn't treat their child like a servant. Real family doesn't spend years mocking someone's career while secretly benefiting from it. A cold smile curved my lips. Don't worry. My office will send invoices for every gala, every anonymous donation I've funded over the years. Victoria's earlier arrogance had vanished, replaced by frantic calculation. Surely we can, what? Keep pretending you're the successful one? Keep acting like your analyst job is some achievement? I shook my head. Enjoy your new position in our Asia-Pacific division. I hear entry-level analysts there work very hard. As I moved toward the exit, Dad found his voice. You can't just walk away from your family. Watch me. I nodded to James, who opened the doors. And Victoria, those clients you've been bragging about? They're all subsidiaries of my company. You might want to update your resume. The crowd parted as I strode through the room, whispers and shocked murmurs trailing me. Lord Sheffield walked beside me, barely concealing his amusement. Quite the performance, he murmured. Worth the flight over. Thank you for indulging me, I replied quietly. The Buckingham Palace detail was a nice touch. Real deal, he grinned. Her Majesty's impressed with your latest strategy. Though I doubt she expected her financial advisor to be pouring drinks at parties. I laughed softly as we entered the private elevator to my waiting car. One last glance at my family, Mom collapsed in the chair, Dad staring blankly, Victoria furiously typing on her phone, probably trying to salvage what she could. James, I said as we descended, make sure the cleaning staff receives a generous bonus. After all, I thought with a quiet smirk, someone has to serve the drinks. Later, as my private jet crossed the Atlantic, my phone overflowed with messages from my stunned family and their social circle. Mom, we need to talk. We had no idea. Victoria, about that analyst role. Dad, the board wants a meeting with you. I deleted them all, turning to the contracts spread across my desk. Let them stew in the knowledge that while they mocked me, I was quietly building an empire, one they'd relied on without ever realizing it. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't just proving people wrong. It's letting them discover exactly how wrong they were.